bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, welcome. Fade to Black. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today is Wednesday, December 23rd. 357 days into the new year, just 8 days left for KJCR on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. And tonight, we have very special guests. Ben Moss and Tony Angiola are here. And they will be presenting new evidence with the Socorro, New Mexico UFO incident. Lonnie Zamora. The call-in number tonight is 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14. 'Tis the season. This is going to be our last show. That's right. Because that's it. It's Christmas. So we're going to crank it up. Get ready. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. We're going to have, all that Christmas Eve stuff going on. Going to be over at the in-laws tomorrow night. Christmas Day, dinner here, or over at Casa Day Church. And then Saturday, 26th, we're going to have another get-together. So Sunday will be our day off. And here we are, man. It is Christmas, and it feels really good. And so what I wanted to do, look, I just kind of want to set the tone. I haven't done this yet, and I'm just going to do it now. This is what Christmas is all about. Christmas, everybody. I had, that's Vince Guaraldi, the Vince Guaraldi Trio, and out of respect, you just play every note to the very end. Merry Christmas, everybody. All right, let's get this show cracking. It's going to be a great night tonight. Ben Moss and Tony Angiola are going to be with us. We're going to be talking about the Socorro UFO incident. They have some new evidence, and we will be doing an entire presentation on it tonight. Now, this will be our last broadcast before Christmas, so a couple of things that I just want to make sure that we get in there. Life Change Tea has their Christmas special going on right now, holiday special for you Fadernauts. Purchase online or call their number. Everything is over on the banners at jimmychurchradio.com. Get 2 months, get your third month free, just for you Fadernauts. The Studio Dome Christmas special is still on. Just go to the banners. $99 gets you the surround sound package with a hard shell cases. There's other cases for the SD1 remote speakers. $99. List price of $299. There you go. Get free shipping. Go and do that as well. Alien Snowfest. Their Christmas special is going on. I want to thank everybody that got the 2-for-1 specials last night. I got word today. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Fadernauts. It's going on through Christmas Eve. You can get a full weekend pass to Alien Snowfest through Christmas Eve, 2-for-1, $179. Go and do it right now, okay? And that's about it. the 14th annual Conscious Life Expo, too, as well. The banners are now up over at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, that's it. I just want to get to the show. I'm in a great mood. We have, I got some Christmas presents today. And Deborah, thank you for the Christmas gifts. I'm not going to say what they were, but she knows how to do it. Thank you so much. And Rita says thank you, too, as well, for those gifts. With that, let's get this show cracking, everybody. Let's do it. Happy birthday, Deborah. Fade or not, Deborah. Gifts in the mail. Birthday today. How cool is that? Deborah, happy birthday. 29 never looks so good. Also today, happy birthday to the one and only Graham Bonnet. He is 68 years old. Oh, man. I posted over on the Facebook page some pictures of Graham and I and Gina Zamparelli, too, as well, that we took a few years ago when I did an interview with Graham. Now, he's been on the show a few times, but did this interview with him a few years ago, and those pictures are, I still look at them, and I can't believe I was in the presence of the man. Graham Bonnet, today is 68. Also, it's kind of a heavy metal day. Eddie Vedder is 51. Iron Maiden Dave Murray today is 59. And Harry Shearer is 72. Spinal Tap, so that counts, right? Heavy Metal Day, December 23rd. Happy birthday, everybody. Our dead guy's birthday today is, we do need a true moment of silence for Corey Haim. 1971 to 2010, died at the age of 38. Now, he starred in a number of films, Lucas, Silver Bullet, Murphy's Romance, but there's always those two. Well, Dream a Little Dream and Snowboard Academy, but License to Drive and Lost Boys. That's it. And what was funny was he was one of the guys in Hollywood at that time. But something happened, and we don't really know the backstory, accusations and craziness. And I'm not going to get into right now. It's our Christmas Eve show. But it was sad. And in the time leading up to his death, Haim shared a month-to-month rental at the Oakwood Apartments right here in Burbank. And the Oakwood Apartments are where movie stars and people in production and stuff, they go and stay there temporarily while they're filming movies and or recording albums or whatever. That's what the Oakwood is famous for. And it's a big complex right here. And, you know, it's in between Burbank and the Hollywood Hills. And it's a famous place. Well, his mother at the time had breast cancer, and they rented this month-to-month place, and they had been there for a while. And his neighbor said that Haim could be seen wandering around the complex. And it's big. I've been there many times. It's a big place. Looking for companionship, looking for friends, like he was lonely. Sad. And then on March 10th, 2010, after his mother had phoned 911, paramedics took Haim from their home at the Oakwood to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, which is literally like 2 blocks away. It's right there in Burbank, where he was pronounced dead at 2:15 a.m. He was just 38 years old. There were rumors going around that he had overdosed, and it was drugs, and it was this, and prescription medications, and lots of criminal stuff was brought into the court system with different doctors that were prescribing him pills. There were convictions, too, as well. It got out of control. But the L.A. County Coroner's Office autopsy, that report ruled out that Haim died of an overdose. They said it was a natural death. As to the speculation about whether drugs were involved or not, the coroner went on to state the toxicology report revealed no significant contributing factor. And I was relieved. It just happened. He had an enlarged heart. He had pneumonia, and there was complications. He just died naturally. And all of the darkness that was surrounding him turned out to not be true. Corey Haim, happy birthday. License to Drive. It didn't get any funnier than that, actually. And with that, let's light up Twitter really quick. Let's do it. And I'm going to do it with Graham Bonnet, because there's all those rainbow hits, but you have all of his other bands, Impellitteri, Alcatraz. But he had Graham Bonnet, for some reason, and I get it, attracted the best guitar players in the world. His guitar players were Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, Michael Schenker, Richie Blackmore. Think about that for a second. That's how good. He's one of the greatest rock voices of our generation. So, let's light up Twitter. Out of his 4 guitar players, out of those 4 bands, which is the best guitar player that played for Graham Bonnet? Let's see. Let's light up Twitter right now. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio, hashtag F2B. How cool is that? We're going to talk about UFOs tonight, the Socorro Lonnie Zamora incident with Ben Moss and Tony Angiola. And we just listened to the Vince Guaraldi trio, Charlie Brown Christmas. And now we're talking about Graham Bonnet and Yngwie Malmsteen in the same conversation, the same show. That's why I love Fade to Black and you. On this day in history, 1888, Van Gogh chops off his ear in 1888. A fader fact, and I went to vet this today, and I guess it's true, and I didn't know this. This was sent in from Renee. Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the world without a river. I didn't know that. That is a great fader fact, and that's why you are here. All of the news that you know nothing about breaking all day today, and in case you didn't know, we broke it over on our Facebook page, and this was sent to me today from some folks over in the UK. The former home of Aleister Crowley and Jimmy Page was virtually destroyed by fire, which ripped through the 18th century Loch Ness home today. Crowley bought the house in 1899, and in 1971, the house was bought by, that's right, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page. Local legend has it that the house was built on the site of a church that burned down, killing the entire congregation who were attending Mass. I was watching the post today on Facebook. We just posted this about an hour ago as we got the news. And the posts were like, good riddance. It's about time that thing was burnt to the ground. That was a bad news place, but that's it. It's gone. And if you want to see pictures of it, just go over to our Facebook page. We posted a few of it burning to the ground today. Etsy, the Tyrolean Iceman, entombed beneath the Alpine Glacier some 5,300 years ago, is the oldest tattooed human. That's according to a new study. The mummy boasts tattoos grouped across 19 parts of his body. Earlier this year, I reported about the discovery of the body, but now they've gone back and checked it out, and the total tattoos on the body, 61. 61 tats. And there's a bunch of pictures over on our Facebook page. You can go check it out. It's pretty trippy. A third of the world's... Hey, Bob, you are quick. You are quick. There's a picture. Go over to our Twitter page, everybody, at JChurchRadio, hashtag F2B. And he's just posted another picture. I haven't seen this one. That's it, man. Going up in flames. That is an old house, too. That is an old house. Crowley's pad down. A third of the world's food goes uneaten each year. I talk about it all the time. It's a shame. And that's according to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization. An astonishing 1.3 billion tons of food, about a third of the global supply of food and nutrition, goes uneaten each year. It's enough to feed 870 million people wasted, thrown away. It is still illegal to buy alcohol at a liquor store on Sunday in Indiana, but the red state is holding fast on an old blue law. Check this out. Grocery stores and gas stations, and I remember this when I lived in Indiana. I forgot all about this, the blue law. Grocery stores and gas stations can only sell warm beer on a Sunday. Can't sell cold beer. Can't sell any alcohol. Only warm beer. And if you needed beer on a Sunday, you had to go buy warm, and you had to ice it, and you couldn't drink it for a couple hours. A rule that embeds a sort of mandatory waiting period for impulse drinkers. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It was crazy. But in a state that has some of the quirkiest and most forbidding liquor laws in the country, Indiana, of all places, one of them has been relaxed this year for the first time in decades. Stores and restaurants in the state can start selling alcohol on Christmas Day. Yes. The Beatles' music catalog is to become available on streaming services tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, Thursday. Participating services include Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, Google Play, and Amazon Prime. Do you care? Why is that headline news? I ask you. I'm just not a Beatles guy. I'm sort of a Beatles guy. Couple of hits, couple of things here and there. I know their influence on music. I get it. But is that really news? I guess so. The headlines read, all right, the headlines read, all day yesterday, this was all over the net. And I know you've seen the picture. The headlines read, ancient mysterious gold object found by a maintenance worker at a burial site used during Roman, Byzantine, and Crusader periods, right? And that was it. And it had this gold, it looked like a rolling pin, this gold thing with stripes on it. And it was crazy. It was like, wow, right? Well, the object turned out to be very modern, actually manufactured by a German company, and is called an Isis beamer, named after, the Egyptian goddess. And it was designed by naturopaths to deal with healing energy. The giveaway, which was not mentioned in the news story, it was buried in a plastic pipe, insulated with cotton, and left with an antioxidant. I'm not making this up. So they post the picture. Yeah, they found it in a plastic pipe, but they didn't report any of that. And they show this picture like it's some astonishing thing. And it was recovered at a burial site, but it wasn't mysterious and it wasn't ancient. They just wanted clicks. A Russian television channel alleges that a German state broadcaster hired actors to show Russian involvement in the eastern Ukraine conflict. The scandal centers around a Russian quote-unquote volunteer paid by the German company to say that he was fighting in Ukraine. Yeah. The documentary film entitled Strongman Putin, produced by ZDF, suggests that many Russians are fighting for the separatists opposed to the Kiev government. However, holes in the channel's story started to open immediately because the Ukrainian flag was on the soldiers' uniforms. Merry Christmas. Travelers who previously chose a pat-down at airports to avoid body scanners may no longer have that option. The United States government quietly updated the rules concerning the use of body scanners, letting TSA agents make screening mandatory for whoever they want. Now, I got to say this right now. I don't mind the body scanners. What I do mind is getting the pat down. I don't dig that. I don't dig it. Step into the body scanner, put your feet on the 2 yellow footprints, and let that thing scan away. I'm okay with that. Getting patted down at 5 a.m., in your stocking feet just feels funky to me, and I'm not into it. Hacktivists Collective Anonymous has now declared war on Turkey. Yes, they are accusing the government of supporting ISIS. And I'm quoting here from their post today. Turkey is supporting Daesh by buying oil from them and hospitalizing their fighters. And this is the new video that has just been posted. You got that cloaked guy in the Guy Fawkes mask. Went on to say in the video, if you don't stop supporting ISIS, we will continue attacking your internet. And now check this out. We will start to hit your airports, military assets, and private state connections. We will destroy your critical banking infrastructure. Now, you may not have known this, but a massive distributed denial of service attack was launched on all websites with Turkey's official domain suffix .tr back on the 14th of December, leading Turkey's National Response Center for Cyber Events to close off all incoming traffic to websites from outside Turkey. Turkish media reported that the attack crippled, check this, 400,000 websites. They didn't stop until 2 days ago on the 21st of December. So I'm guessing here that maybe Turkey stopped buying that ISIS oil. Possibly. Maybe. They stopped the attack 2 days ago. There you go, Anonymous. Man, I love Anonymous. I never want to get on the bad side of Anonymous. We love Anonymous. Anonymous forever. Viva. Viva Anonymous. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is Faded Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Ben Moss and Tony Angiola right here, right after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously. Give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses. Merry Christmas. Tonight we have very special guests, Ben Moss and Tony Angiola. Ben has been with MUFON since the early 90s. He is a native of Richmond, Virginia, where he studied psychology at the University of Richmond. Tony Angiola has been with MUFON since the early 90s and has been the Assistant State Director of Virginia since 2014. Now, they had a chance encounter with James Fox, the director, at the 2014 MUFON Symposium, and Ben and Tony began a long and thorough search for what Ben called the lost Socorro footage. After locating and presenting this VHS video, Ben and Tony were mutually introduced to the Socorro original nightcap investigator, the one and only Ray Stanford. Ben and Tony have spent hundreds of hours discussing this case in person with Ray, a friend of the former late Dr. J. Allen Hynek. Ray revealed new and revolutionary evidence regarding this case and still possesses material gathered from the site, including a rock that was broken under one of the craft's landing struts, which is still currently under study. We're going to talk about that specifically tonight, too, as well. We're going to take a look at the case from the inside out, which today, and in Project Blue Book, it is still classified as an unknown. They have been researching this case for over a year, and they have collected an impressive amount of new data, including footage and audio recording from the original witnesses. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black for the first time my good friends Ben Moss and Tony Angiola. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? Thanks for having us.
There you go. One at a time. Ben first. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Tony, how are you, man?
I'm great.
All right. It's good to have you guys here. And Merry Christmas. Let's get that out of the way first. Are you guys ready for the holidays?
I'm never ready.
Okay. I love you both, man. I love you both so much. Ben, are you ready for the holidays?
No, it always sneaks up really fast, and it's already here.
And what about you, Tony? Are you a big Christmas guy? I am.
I do like the holidays. I like the feeling in the air and the lights, but I'm never ready for it.
Well, this is for me. I put so much on family and friends and country, and I get to this time of the year, Thanksgiving through Christmas and New Year's, and it is just the opportunity. It's the time where you can just sit back and just go, you know what? I have everything to be thankful for, and then you just get to eat and drink, and that's it for me. And I love hanging out with my family.
That's what it's all about.
I'm going to let Ben speak first from now on.
Actually,
I don't want any dead air.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. That's real funny, actually. Okay, welcome to the program. And what I want to do for everybody is the Socorro. Okay, I'm going to make a statement first. The Lonnie Zamora Socorro, New Mexico case is first off, it really happened. So I'm going to start there. The second thing is it is the one case, as documented as it is not on the front burner of everybody's conversation, and it should be. It rates right there with any other significant case in history. And it's not, and I don't understand why. So I'm going to throw this to Ben first. Ben, why has Lonnie been swept under the rug? Why is this case just ignored?
Well, it's older. It's from '64, so it's one of those things that kind of with time fades away a little bit, because it's not like Roswell, where it's talked about all the time. And also, there was an explanation thrown out by somebody at the New Mexico University that it was a hoax, and that it's just like when Roswell happened. They said balloon, and people lost interest. So when this theory was put out that it was a hoax by students, that might have had people say, well, that's it, case solved, which we've proved was not true at all. So that's probably one of the big reasons.
How about you, Tony? What do you think?
You know, I think that, in my opinion, a lot of it might have to do with, well, exactly what Ben said, absolutely. But also, there wasn't a movie called Socorro, New Mexico, but they did have a movie called Roswell. So maybe that's why that got a little bit more hang time.
You know what, the hoax explanation, and anybody that was, remotely involved with the case or had read about it in the papers or listened to what Lonnie had to say, the one thing about the hoax explanation is there were two beings outside of the craft. And there's no way for students to be flying around hoaxing something and climbing out of the craft. Or they would have to be on the site and know where Lonnie Zamora was going to drive to and arrive and witness. And it was just like a crazy thing to say. It was not a cover story at all. It didn't solve anything. And anybody that knew about the case knew that that is just a completely fabricated disinformation attempt.
Exactly. Yeah, the letter that was sent said it had to be a hoax by disgruntled college students. And I think part of that came up because if somebody doesn't believe something, they have to come up with an explanation that fits into their world. So the only explanation was students did it because they were ticked off at Lonnie for giving them speeding tickets. But, you know, Lonnie was on random patrol that day, and the thing that got him started towards the object was seeing it fly overhead. So this whole thing about a plastic bag with flames, there's no pyrotechnics at the site. But the whole hoax theory has no legs at all. It can be disproven on multiple counts.
So let's talk about the history of the case really quick, and let's set the tone for the audience. For those that don't know anything about the case, let's pick it up there because it's so documented, and there are so many witnesses. Not only was there Lonnie, but there were people that were driving that saw it. There were the tourists. You had the gas station owner. That were all involved with this case. It's just not a single witness. And there's also evidence and trace evidence. So let's start there. Let's start with Lonnie that day. Who was Lonnie Zamora? What did he do? And what was he doing that day? He was chasing a speeder at the time.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Tony. I can break that down for you really quick if you like.
Take your time. Go ahead, Tony.
Sure, yeah. Well, Lonnie Zamora, this case is great because you have a lot of, it's like the perfect storm. You have credible witnesses, hard evidence that was analyzed, and in a few minutes, hopefully, we'll talk about some of the new evidence that's recently been not released, but we can talk about it. Basically, Lonnie Zamora is this police officer who is chasing a speeder. This craft flies over Socorro, New Mexico. It's seen by many people. Like Ben said, Lonnie was on random patrol. Chasing a speeder, he sees this object in the sky. He abandons the speeder to follow this object's path. He thinks it's a plane at first, and that might be in trouble. So he goes off-road, up a hill. He's driving this car. If you know what Socorro looks like, it's hilly, it's sandy. Back then, not like today, there's streets everywhere. So he stops, and he sees this view of this depression. And upon exiting his car, what he thinks is an overturned vehicle, he sees these two beings. He doesn't say that they're people. He just says that they're these two beings next to the object. And one of them turns in his direction, and it appears to be startled by his presence, which is really unusual because here is a craft that's clearly capable of landing and taking off again. There was no time to make repairs. Otherwise, this would have lasted a lot longer. It was merely like 5 minutes. These beings get back into the craft, and with this loud roar and a blue flame knifes into the ground. There's no smoke. It's a smokeless flame. Just knifes into the ground. It cuts a bush in half, actually. We'll talk about that later. And Zamora, fearing that this thing might explode, he doesn't know what it is. He hits the ground face first in this prone position, thinking this thing's going to explode. And at about 30 feet away is about how far this thing is. Or actually about maybe like 50 to 100 feet. It's kind of hard to say from where he parked the car and from where he was exactly, but he was really close. This craft lifts up to about 20, 30 feet in the air with this roaring blast, and then it changes to this descending, oscillating sound. And Ben and I, we're working on getting some sound effects together that might help illustrate that in the future. But this thing starts going silent and moves over this dynamite shack. It's not actually over the dynamite shack. It's actually kind of offset because from his point of view. But in the book that we'll discuss later, talks about, kind of going in that direction, the southwest direction. It slowly starts to increase speed at about a 45-degree angle till it's out of sight. And at that point, Sergeant Chavez also arrives, and he does see this craft, although he doesn't admit it at first. Ben, I don't know if you want to fill in any gaps there.
That's pretty good.
Well, yeah, Ben, what you want to do is hold back on your, hold back, Ben, hold back. There's a couple of other details here that I found really interesting. In that Lonnie knew the area really well, and there was a dynamite shack that was close by, and when he thought that might explode too as well, and he didn't know what he was listening to, and he thought that that could have come into play. And I found that as an interesting little side note here, that he knew the area really well. And the other thing that I thought was interesting was the white coveralls. He said that the two beings appeared to be dressed in white coveralls. And that, right. And that says to me uniforms, something like that. But they were dressed the same. They weren't dressed differently. You know what I mean? If it would have been college kids, the hoax, would they be dressed as twins? I don't think so. And I always thought that was a pretty interesting detail with it. Now, at the same time that all of this was going down, there were several other witnesses that saw what was happening. And so let's go back to the gas station. What happened at the gas station?
Well, this has been at the gas station. Opal Grinder was running the gas station, and previous when the timeline was all figured out, previous to Lonnie actually crossing the hill and seeing this thing in depression, a family had come into the gas station. A husband and wife and 3 boys had pulled up in their car and mentioned to the gas station that your aircraft flies really low around here. And Opal Grinder asked, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, this thing almost hit my car. It was kind of funny looking." He was asked if it was a helicopter. He said, if it was a helicopter, it was a funny looking one. And Opal didn't think much of that, but then the guy mentioned that then I saw a policeman chasing it. So I figured, he figured that it was being taken care of or monitored. So Opal, after he found out that Lonnie had reported this, realized that about 3 minutes before the Zamora incident is when this family pulled into the station. So they saw the beginning of the whole incident from their perspective, and Opal brought that up after he heard the report the next day when it broke in the news. And there were other witnesses. There were 2 women in the house that heard the loud roar and thought the dynamite shack had exploded. And before Lonnie and Chavez got back to their office, there were 3 independent witnesses that had called into the police station and reported a blue flame or an object in the air. So, and then there's 2 brothers that also came forth later, and their testimony has been disputed, but it sounds like they also saw it. And so you have a lot of witnesses to this event.
Well, and was it the 2 brothers that were traveling in the opposite direction of Zamora, and
yes,
and saw the craft actually go in the opposite direction from Zamora's description, which would put them at the right place at the right time?
Right. Yeah, the craft flew southwest into the wind. We know the wind was 15 to maybe 25 miles an hour, gusting to 40 miles an hour. So there's another strike against this, college hoax, because this thing lifted up and flew into that stern, 30 to 40 mile an hour wind when it left the area.
And also putting all of this together, then they tried to get the local radio station to report on it, and it did. The broadcast had gone out, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't 2 of the witnesses then go to the radio station going, we heard that we saw it too, right? And they showed up at the radio station, and this went out across the wires. UPI, API, everybody had picked up the story, and it was broadcasted out.
Yeah, that's correct. The broadcasts, the recordings that we have were from the very next day, and it was KSRG. I can't quite remember the call signs, but Walter Strode was okay. I was close. So Walter Strode was the interviewer. Interviewed Lonnie. And a couple of other people. Opals, we don't have the audio for. We have the transcription of that. We're still looking for the audio of that tape. But, we have the description, and you were right. Lonnie said white coveralls and said beans later. And another point to note about the two creatures in white coveralls were they were small. And as Ray Stanford has pointed out, we don't know of any program where small people were hired as flyers for any craft that we know of.
Now, what was the overall description of the craft? I'm going to let you guys, I could sit here and say it, but the reason why I want you to, because every witness pretty much described the exact same thing. And I find that fascinating when the blue flame and where it was coming from and how and what and the shape of the craft, it was all the same thing from witnesses that were not communicating with each other. What did the craft look like?
Well, Jim, this is Tony. It's funny. I think about the shape of this craft all the time. And you remember the Mork and Mindy show, right? How Mork came out of an egg.
Yes, I swear I go there, too. I do. I really do.
You know what I mean? It makes me wonder if the creator of that show was a fan of this case or of ufology. But another interesting point, it is an egg-shaped craft, ellipsoid, if you will. And it's not just in the New Mexico, Nevada area. This thing was reported in 1954, October, November, in France, Germany, and Italy. Also 1962, 15 years actually prior to the date of 1964, the exact same craft was spotted over White Sands, and it was viewed through a theodolite on that air base. So again, it's an ellipsoid kind of egg-shaped craft that had kind of I don't know how you describe it, but an opening for some sort of an exhaust system.
And each witness pretty much described the exact same thing.
That's right.
Now, the other, I'm just setting up for things that we're going to talk about later. Lonnie then described a symbol on the craft. What did he describe the first time?
Well, this has been the initial, because on the interview right after Mr. Strode knew what the real symbol was, he asked Lonnie, now you said you saw an inverted V with 3 bars through it. And Lonnie says, well, I can't say that because I was told not to talk about it. So what Lonnie reported initially from our research is an inverted V with 3 bars through it that was changed probably for the purpose of, by the Blue Book and Air Force Blue Book gentlemen, to validating the future cases if somebody said they saw an egg-shaped craft with a symbol on it, and they gave the incorrect symbol, which was an arrow with a line, kind of a curved line above it and lines below it, that was created by one of the Blue Book guys, and they would know that they were reporting a hoax. So I think that they wanted to keep the real symbol silent so that they could tell if somebody's actually reporting it, because they wouldn't know what the symbol really was. And that's where our confusion came in. But, we have the document that was photographed at the National Archives that Ray found in Hynek's letter, same thing, inverted V with 3 bars. So there was confusion over the symbol that was created by the Blue Book investigators.
What do you think the symbol meant, and why would they have him change his story?
This is Ben again. I think they had him change his story so that future reports of the event, if they gave the symbol that the Air Force made up, they would know that somebody's lying or just telling a tale. If somebody said they saw the craft and they gave the symbol that wasn't reported at the time, then they might know that they were onto something. So the symbol, and I was talking to Ray about this, we were trying to get an idea of what the symbol might mean. When I Google radiation symbols, I've got a big similarity. You have, most radiation symbols have three objects inside of a triangle, or a triangle in three parts. So my thought, and Ray kind of agreed with me, that it might be onto something, was the inverted V was pointing to the location of the thruster in the center of the craft, and the three bars meant some type of radiation or danger. The symbol was red, which is a universal color for danger, heat, fire. So what it might mean was basically don't stand here, you know. That's just extrapolation and guesswork, but it's plausibly could be what it meant. Basically a warning that in this area, when this thruster went off, it could be dangerous for you.
Now, the incident happened on April 24th, and that's a key day in 1964. How many days later did the Air Force and Blue Book converge on the site?
Tony, you want to take that?
It is, Tony. Yeah, I think Hynek showed up about 4 days later, and Ray showed up right after that. And right after the event happened, I mean, there were people trampling the site pretty much, and they had to work with a lot of footprints and just a lot of people in the area. They're trying to, as soon as Hynek and Stanford were on site with Chavez, Chavez didn't want anybody else on there but Hynek, and of course Lonnie, and Dr. Hynek insisted that Ray be there because he had worked with Ray in the past. So it was nice that Hynek was able to get Ray on there because he did bring a lot to the table.
Yeah, we keep talking about Ray, but the audience doesn't know who we're talking about. Who was Ray Stanford?
Well, Ray's had a long and interesting life. He's kind of reinvented himself quite a few times since he's been doing this his whole life. As a matter of fact, him and his brother, he has a twin brother named Rex, and they wrote their first book in their teens, and when they started seeing UFOs and whatnot. And through the years, he's very, very detailed. So is his brother. And over time, they've encountered many strange things, and they've wrote about these things. And Ray started with this organization called PSI, or Starlight International, and they had funds from some wealthy donors that enabled them to purchase equipment, develop magnetometers, and record these strange anomalies and get hard evidence, which is what we are trying to do today, which is you'll hear it many times from UFO Talk and various other projects that MUFON is getting involved with these days. They're trying to basically do the same thing that Ray's group did back in the 60s and the 70s. Of course, today we have better technology. We have hard drives. We have computers. We're able to record things maybe a little bit better. But what we don't have, and what Ray does have, and he's willing to share with anybody who will listen to him, is the frequency. You have to know what you're looking for. So you can listen to all the frequencies that are out there, but if you don't know specifically what you're looking for, it's something that they spent millions of dollars learning over time. And then you're gonna find yourself, digging and digging and digging, trying to find that information, and you might eventually get there, but he has it now, and we're hoping to work with him to figure out how to do the same, replicate the work that he did in the past today.
And how did Ray find out about this? Did he hear about it through the media? He showed up. I want to clarify for the audience really quick. He shows up on the same day that J. Allen Hynek and the Air Force and Project Blue Book, they're converging on this site. And then a couple of hours later, I could be wrong about this, but a couple of hours later, Ray showed up on the site too as well, and everybody is converging. Somebody's making a lot of noise there. You need to be a little quieter. And he converges. How did Ray find out about the case?
So Ray, Ray showed up days later. The Air Force, they actually had a liaison officer, I think Ted Jordan, was there in Socorro. So he got on the site really quickly after several police officers were there. And so The Air Force had people there really quickly. It escalated, and they sent more people the next day. So they were all on site really quickly. Ray came on site, I believe, a week later through NICAP, but Dr. Hynek requested that he be allowed on the site, much to the chagrin of the Air Force. So, one thing that I wanted to mention about Ray is he's very observational. He really notices things. He's the one that noticed on the footpath at Goddard Space Center that there were dinosaur footprints, which are going to be displayed soon, but that had never been seen inside the Beltway. So he discovered the first dinosaur footprints found in the Maryland area where Goddard is. So he's very observational, very detail-oriented. The notes are copious on this case, the way they picked up evidence, the way they looked at the site. It's an incredible amount of detail. I can't think of almost any other case that has as much detail and hard evidence and as many witnesses that was a close encounter like this was.
Yeah. Ray's work on this case is extraordinary, and I mean he got. And we're going to talk about this after the break, but he got really involved. There was obviously some cover-ups that were going on. What happened at Goddard is a whole nother story. We're going to talk about that too as well. And you guys have sat down and talked to Ray quite a bit. I can't wait to get Ray on the show. I've always looked forward to having Ray on and talk to him about this case too as well. So with that, let's take a quick break. Merry Christmas, everybody. Tonight, Tony Angiola and Ben Moss are with us. We are talking about the Socorro, New Mexico UFO incident with Lonnie Zamora. New evidence, new recordings, video, some photographs. And we're going to talk about all of that right after the break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
People love to shop. What if you could shop and it was actually good for you? What if you could actually purchase items that bettered your life? What goes into your body is important to what quality of life you have. How about shopping for items that better your health? GetTheT.com is that shopping place. We're not only tea, even though that's our #1 seller, we are about helping your health. There's Colostrum LD for those of you with autoimmune troubles. The product helps your stomach get on track. GI problems produce pain. Get relief with Colostrum LD. How about some fat burners? Or maybe some joint aid? Or a power cleanse? There's so much to tell you with very little time. So get help health-wise at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Or you can call our friendly operators at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Get help and relief by going shopping. Shop at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Serving people with great products for over 8 years. GetTheT.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Hello, Fadernauts. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the holidays? Well, check this out. The Studio Dome surround sound system, featuring the Studio Dome 1 SD1 and the Studio Boombox SBB wireless Bluetooth speakers, is the perfect way to get surround sound without all of the cable headaches. With its own hard shell custom carrying case for taking your surround sound experience on the go. Each hard shell case comes packed with an SBB, 2 SD1s, cables, and power. Just in time for Christmas. It's just $99, and you use the promo code Jimmy, and you get yourself some free shipping. Once again, Studio Dome brings you the best Christmas deal on the net. Anywhere. Just go to the Studio Dome banner, JimmyChurchRadio.com, promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Tonight we have two very special guests with us, Ben Moss and Tony Angiola, with me on this season of Hangar 1. And Tony was the good-looking guy, just so you know. And we're talking about the new evidence with the Socorro UFO case in New Mexico with Lonnie Zamora. Now, along with Lonnie, what makes this case so different is the amount of witnesses that were there. There were two tourists, Paul Keyes and Larry Kratzer. They were approaching Socorro from another direction, saw the craft, described it as egg-shaped. A family of 5 tourists from Colorado heading north also saw the object as it approached Socorro. Another witness is stopped by or called into the radio station to report the craft at the exact time that Zamora had reported seeing the craft, described it the same. The FBI gets involved, the Army's involved, the Air Force is involved, Project Blue Book. The FBI took witness statements, and they described the same thing. Blue flames, egg-shaped craft. It is one of the most documented cases in UFO history. My guests tonight are Ben Moss and Tony Angiola. Now, guys, so I want to fast forward to the 2014 MUFON Symposium where you bump into James Fox. At this point, was it James that stirred your interest back into Socorro, or were you already looking into Socorro and hit James Fox with questions? How did that happen? Ben, well, go first.
Yeah, this is Ben. I've always been fascinated by the case and always believed it to be really unusual, but we weren't really keyed on it. We were at the symposium, and James was doing a presentation where he was discussing a movie he was working on about the 701 cases that are unsolved in Blue Book. And I thought he was going to bring up, when he started talking about the Socorro case, I thought he was going to bring up this footage that I'd seen on TV, on the TV show Sightings. And so after his presentation, when he didn't mention it, we met him in the lobby, and I brought up this footage, and he had never heard of it. So that's when I told him to his face, I said, I promise I will get you that footage, not knowing how difficult and arduous that was going to be to locate it. So that's what got us on the path. Once the footage was found and we wrote an article that was on the front page of the MUFON Journal, that's when Ray called in to Jan Harzan, the director of MUFON, and got him in touch with us because we live in a similar area.
And so what happened next?
So, Tony, you want to take that one?
Well, basically, yeah, Ben and I started contacting everyone under the sun that we can think of to try to get this video footage. And what's really funny is that after, I don't know, man, it was like 2 or 3 months of just searching and searching, John Ventry, got to give him props because John said, hey, I got this thing on videotape. I'm sending it to you right now. And we felt like we went around the world just to come back home to find it in our backyard.
Right.
And So when we got this footage and we checked it out, we showed it to Ray, and Ray said, well, this is, not exactly what you think it is. There's no burning bush here. And the best part about the video is basically that it's actual footage of this little girl running around the area. You can see how people were just kind of swarming on the area and just traipsing all over it. But it's original footage. You get to see Lonnie on it. He's looking around. You see people all over the place. So, in one sense, it was nice getting the footage and seeing, what we thought it was and realizing, what it wasn't. But we made it part of our presentation just to show people.
And now with let's go back. Ray gets the famous rock, right? And for the audience, the egg-shaped craft had struts or landing gear that were coming out of the bottom of it that it was sitting on, and those penetrated the ground. When the craft took off, I feel like I'm doing your show for you guys, and you can jump in at any point. But when the craft took off, it pulled dirt out from the ground. So the moist dirt, the discolored dirt, because it's desert, was pulled out, and so that was there, and they were able to pull the trace evidence. But also there was this famous rock that Ray Stanford got his hands on. And what was that rock?
You want to hit that?
Well, yeah, this has been the landing gear. There were 4 landing gear, apparently maybe telescoping out of the vehicle, and the pods, which is another piece which kind of kills some of these hoax theories and moon lander theories. The landing pads were rectangular in shape, but they had a V shape. So they were wedge shape on the bottom and able to grip the ground, probably. So this wedge shape, the object obviously had some weight to it because it put 4 deep impressions in the ground. So this wedge-shaped landing gear apparently was sitting on a rock, and when it left, it had slid down the rock because of the V shape to the bottom of the pad and left some metal shavings in the rock and broken it in half. And what's really funny is Lonnie walks over with Ray and Dr. Hynek and looks down and goes, that looks like a rock that might have been broke by the landing gear. And Dr. Hynek looks at it and goes, yeah, you might be right. And they don't do anything. And at this point, nobody, picks it up or looks at it. Ray realizes, well, this is a great find. So then he reminds them that it's time to go back to the police station and do an interview and this whole, production where they were getting the news out. So he kind of distracted them. They all went back to the station, and then Ray, after the interviews, got back in his car, drove out to the site, and picked up the rock. So he has the rock to this day.
And Ray was a kid too, wasn't he? He was like 25 years old or something.
Yeah, he's in his 20s.
Yeah, so he's young and crazy in that, right? He goes back to the scene and takes it upon himself to go back and get this rock. And I don't know if we would do that as adults, but when you're 25, you're young and nuts, and that's exactly what Ray did.
That's right. And also, what's really interesting about that rock is that it had a huge metal sample on the rock, like a shaving off of the landing pad or the landing foot, whatever you want to call it. And that got lost in transfer. It didn't, because that rock was not placed into a bag right away. It was just loose in his car. It actually fell out in the front of his house as he was handing it to Dick Hall. The metal fragment, the metal sample fell off into his yard, and he must have searched that yard forever trying to find it. But there was enough left on the rock that Goddard was able to scrape the rest of it off to analyze it.
So he takes the rock to Goddard, and to have the metal analyzed, he makes a deal with those guys and says, look, you can take half of the metal shavings, but leave half on the rock. I need some left, right? Wasn't that the deal that he struck with them?
That's right.
And then what happened?
Ben, you want to take that?
Yeah, it was Dr. Frankel was the gentleman that got it and said, look, I'll analyze the rock. If I find something, we'll release a paper. I'd love to find something unusual. So after several times when Ray had easy conversations with them, they had picked the metal out and analyzed it. And from our research, it seems like there weren't really unusual metals in it, but the metal was combined in a very strange way that was very anomalous and raised some red flags, probably on the Air Force side. So after all this communication, I think they did the analysis. Then Ray can't reach Dr. Frankel anymore and is getting stonewalled. And eventually somebody else got on the phone and said, we didn't find anything, we'll send the rock back. He got the rock back, which we have a picture of with all the arrows showing where the metal was, but there was absolutely no metal left on the rock, and they said there was nothing to it. So that's another piece that, and this is all in a lot of these internal documents we have, but that's just another piece of what, turned into a cover-up. They, from what we understand, it was not, they couldn't release the final scientific data about this metal because it was something that would maybe blow the case wide open.
And, I'm confused a little bit. I thought that, and this is, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I thought that Ray was actually at Goddard when they were doing the testing. And Ray splits for a little bit, and he comes back and sees that the rock is now missing the metal. And they have like a confrontation there. And he was like, you know what, screw you guys if that's the way you want to play it. And he took his rock and went home, and was upset with Goddard and Frankel. But also, to fast forward, when he kept trying to call back, then Frankel is like off of the case. They took him off of the case. And he was like, well, who's doing? Well, it doesn't matter. Here are the results now, and I'm the lab assistant that's working on it. But you can't talk to Frankel anymore. After Frankel had kind of insinuated that this was some kind of strange anomaly that probably could only be made off world. I think that's what was referred to Stanford. Now, Stanford. I don't. But I thought that's where things started to get fishy for Ray. And then didn't he? Oh man, I feel like we're just sitting around at a bar somewhere talking. Didn't he then connect up with Hynek, and Hynek made a reference to Frankel, but Hynek shouldn't have known that who Frankel was or that he was on the case?
Tony, all you.
Ben, I don't remember that part actually about Hynek referencing Frankel. Have to ask him about that.
Yeah, I thought.
But time went by. Yeah, there was more time went by than he expected. He was given a phone number to call that Frankel wasn't taking his phone calls anymore. And then when he got the rock back and he saw that it was completely scraped off, there was a huge confrontation. There was him and Dick Hall had a falling out. There was just all kinds of bad stuff happening at that point. It was not good. But on the bright side, since we were able to look at the rock, he was able to point out where the metals were. He also discovered he had an additional rock that he's going to have tested soon. We can't conclusively say that this other sample was melted or directly affected by the blue flame, but we're speculating that it might have, and that's what we need to have analyzed now. We're hoping to take a field trip with Ray sometime next year to a special place that we can't disclose to have it tested by a reputable facility and see what this melted, fused aspect of this particular sample is all about.
Have you guys been back to the original site?
We are planning to go there. Go ahead, Ben.
February.
In February. On our way
February. Go ahead.
I was going to say, on the way to the UFO Congress. We're going to land in Socorro, then we're going to drive to the UFO Congress from there. Okay, so you're going to go to the site, and maybe I'm just wondering, is there a sign marking it? Is it some kind of tourist destination? How do you know that you're going to be at the actual site? Do you know if it's marked in any way? Yeah, they have an entire memorial dedicated to the spot now. It's got a placard, and there's this huge concrete thing. Okay.
Yeah, that was recent. The thing is, recently there was an article stating that the rocks that they placed around the four landing struts, depressions, are still there. they don't advertise the site, but we know the longitude and latitude. We know where the site is. So one of the hoax theories was that this was an attempt to get more tourists there, but they never, ever built anything on the site, never did anything until, I think, the last few years to memorialize it. And so that's another one of those theories about this was just a tall tale to get tourists there that, never happened. It never came out like that.
Now we have this footage that John Ventry got to you guys. Now, what is the other new evidence that you guys are in possession of?
Yeah, we can both talk about it. This has been what happened was somebody, Ray took a lot of pictures when he was there, as did Dr. Hynek. I think this was 120 days after the incident, if I remember correctly. But what happened was they'd taken a lot of pictures, and if you have a copy of Ray's book, Socorro Saucer, Pentagon Pantry, on page 52 is one of the pictures we're talking about. So what happened was somebody asked Ray, maybe in 2005 or so, who owned that dynamite shack, because he had taken a picture of it. So as Ray's going back through his negatives and blowing them up, he blows up the picture that's on page 52 of his book, and it's a great shot because they just asked Lonnie what direction the craft had come from, and they pointed their cameras, and in Ray's shot you can see Dr. Hynek taking a picture with his Polaroid. Ray's using an Argus C3 with a 50-millimeter lens, and he's taking a picture. They're both taking a picture of the direction, and then you can see Zamora bending over in the front of the picture where one of the landing pads was. And so when Ray blew that picture up, in the background, in front of the mountains, maybe 6 miles away, 5 miles away, or four objects up in the air. One of them looks to be further away and very large, but two of the clear objects are both egg-shaped, tilted at an angle, which is an interesting observation. And one of them clearly shows 3 landing gear sticking out of it, exactly like Lonnie Zamora described. So Ray discovered 50, 60 years after the event that he had actually caught an image of multiple craft in the air in the area. And it's interesting because a lot of the police officers, from talking to Mr. Stanford, said that a lot of them had seen this craft before and after this event, but when they saw the way that Lonnie was treated by the press and everything else, that they just never, ever wanted to talk about it. So it's interesting that a lot of these officers admitted privately that they had seen this thing also and never, ever would bring it up because of what happened to this whole process with Lonnie. And the thing we probably didn't point out is Lonnie was a very abstaining citizen, didn't drink, was not prone to any type of strange behavior, was a real solid Army veteran, well respected in the community, never changed his story until the day he passed. So really a solid witness.
Yeah, everybody says that about Lonnie. Now, this picture, what direction was the picture taken in?
Hey, Jimmy, really quick, this is Tony. I have honor to add to that. There's also a second photograph. There's the direction of approach, and there's also the direction that the craft left. And there was 2 photographs that were taken on that day, and each one of them in each direction showed objects in the distance. We haven't seen the second one. We saw the one of the direction of approach, but there's another photograph that Ray has of over the dynamite shack in the distance as well. There's an object up there, and apparently the Air Force had airbrushed out those objects, thinking that they were something else. Just wanted to point that out.
Is that right? Huh. Now this the new picture, the one that shows the craft with the struts on it, the landing gear. What direction was that taken in?
That's the direction of approach. That was in the north, facing northeast.
Facing northeast. And were there hills in the background in that one?
That's right.
Okay, and so the craft is above the hills, I'm guessing?
Well, see, the hills are about 22 miles away, but the actual objects are more like 4 miles away. So in 3-dimensional space, you have to take that into account. So you might see these objects, and what appears to be the mountains right behind them can actually be further away.
And I'm going to let the audience know. I actually had an opportunity to see this they but Tony and Ben were too busy having fun doing other stuff instead of remembering that they needed to show this to me. They thought they showed me the image, but I have not seen it yet. And I'm kind of bummed about that. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason why the image isn't out yet. There still needs to be some more analysis. But why can't we see this image?
It's Ray's, and Ray doesn't want to show it yet. He wants to have it analyzed, and we all agree with that. It's got to be peer reviewed by somebody that really knows photography and how to break down the image. And Ray's caught a lot of flack in the past, as most UFO researchers do. So it's something you want to do your homework on before you release it, and we have to honor that. Ray has the picture, the negative, in his possession, and we're really working on trying to get him to want to have it analyzed. But, it's on his time frame, and we have a gentleman's agreement about that, and that's just the way it is.
So the plan is, though, to get high-res scans off of that negative.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That's got to be the next step. Has Ray had the opportunity to go back on every single photograph and negative that he took at the scene to see if there's other stuff in the background?
I believe that's how the second photo, which we hadn't heard about till recently, came up. I imagine he's been going back over all of them to look at them, because it's funny, because when Tony and I found that lost Socorro footage, we saw something in the video fly by really fast, but it turned out to be a scratch in the film. We thought we'd seen something that was captured by the video, or the old probably 16 millimeter at the time. But it's one of these things where you don't want to release it without the analysis. People have been saying it's a smudge. There's no way the camera could have that kind of resolution to be able to pull these images out. But Ray, always has these huge lenses, always had these very long lenses with his cameras, and, really got to the point where he seemed to sense when things were around, so he kept the camera with him all the time, and the video camera too. So he's got a lot of other interesting footage and things that we're investigating, but when this popped up, this is kind of like the probably the most definitive thing about the case that would really probably bring it back out into the public again and get people talking about this case once this picture is released.
Well, and then we have the audio recordings from original witnesses. We're going to be up against a break here in a couple of minutes, but before we get there, what is on these audio recordings?
Basically, those are, you can find those on the internet, actually. This is Tony. We found those on the internet. Walter Strode has, I forget the name of the website that's out there, but you can easily Google it and download any of those recordings. So they're free. They're free to anybody who wants to find them.
Well, what's on them?
Oh, it has Lonnie in his own words talking about what he saw. He's talking about the symbol. He's talking about the entities that he saw. Like Ben said, there is also an Opal Grinder recording, but it was broken, so we were not able to get that one.
Okay.
What's also interesting is I saw there's a lot of UFO shows on TV these days, but I saw before he passed Ted Jordan, the Blue Book Air Force investigator, or rather, Lieutenant Holder. Way after he retired, he was one of the principal Blue Book investigators there. And well after he retired, before he passed away, there was an interview with him where he said, we never figured this thing out. We have the documents that show that the White House even contacted Blue Book to say, what the heck's going on? Dr. Menzel said this is probably a hallucination to Hynek, and Hynek wrote a letter back saying the hallucinations don't put 4 holes in the ground and radiate film. So it's really interesting. The recordings, a lot of the things that we have that aren't on the internet were Rob Mercer, the state director out of Ohio, purchased the Blue Book files on Craigslist. And that's how we got a lot of the internal documents and some photos that probably haven't seen the light of day in a long time that we're adding to our presentation.
Did you feel that Blue Book was honest in the way that they wrote about it versus what Lonnie had to say, and Ray Stanford and the other investigations that were going on? Did it all line up?
Well, what's interesting about that is the public image that Blue Book presented was a little bit different. Remember, there's a video that we have of Hector Quintanilla, who's the Project Blue Book director, saying that there was nothing to the case, but the internal memos and all the documents we have that were written internally by the Blue Book team all show how confused they were, how they went to great lengths to find an explanation, Black Project, maybe a lunar lander test, and all these other things. Whereas every place they checked, White Sands, Hughes Aircraft, all these places that could have an explanation for this all said it wasn't ours. We don't have anything like that. So the internal documents show that they really, really tried to figure out what it was and never could still classify it as an unknown. They couldn't even give the White House an answer as to what it was. And so they were all scrambling trying to go, we have to give an explanation. And they just couldn't come up with one. And Hynek admitted that. This was one of the cases that probably pushed Hynek over the edge, where he stopped working for Blue Book and formed CUFOS and became a UFO investigator himself.
Let's take a quick break. More with Tony Angiola and Ben Moss, the Socorro, New Mexico, Lonnie Zamora UFO case. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Ray Sobbs here once again to tell you about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place in the ski resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. What a lineup. Richard Dolan, Chase Kletsky, Micah Hanks, George Norrie, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, keynote speaker Stanton Friedman, and more. Along with the speakers and lecturers, join the luncheon hosted by Jimmy Church. See a world-class UFO ET-themed ice sculpture contest with attendees voting the winner. Enjoy the quaint shops, restaurants, and pubs in Big Bear Lake Village, and enjoy some of the best sky watching you can imagine. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself with a retreat the first week of February and come relax with us in a premier ski resort town high in the mountains of the Southern Sierras with an average of over 300 sunny days a year. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now. Visit our website and register at aliensnowfest.com. That's aliensnowfest.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Our last show before Christmas. Our guest tonight, Ben Moss and Tony Angiola, talking about the Lonnie Zamora, Socorro, New Mexico UFO incident. Kind of wish we had Ray Stanford here, too, tonight. Now, hey, guys, what about the fused sand that I've always heard about? Was that ever tested and verified, or was it just ignored? What happened with the fused sand?
Tony, you want to take that?
Ben, do you want that? That fused sand, I believe, was a hoax. The woman that was claiming to have witnessed it, there was nothing to prove that ever existed at all.
Okay. And what the other trace evidence that was there? I know Ray talked about burnt paper that was collected at the site, that Hynek had collected burnt paper, and he still has in his possession paper that was collected from the site that was like burned on the top but not on the back half of it.
Yeah, Ben, do you want that one?
Yeah, they collected paper that had, this was a depression in an area that collected stuff that blew in the wind. So the paper was old and weathered. That's another part that people say was part of a pyrotechnics, but it had nothing to do with that. It was just old paper that apparently, one of the more interesting pieces, had a concentric circular burn ring on the top of it as if it had been burned from above. And so that was an interesting piece. But Ray, he says in his analysis that this may or may not have anything to do with the case, but it is an unusual looking burn that, looks like it would be from something strange to make a circular burn that it did in a concentric circle, not completely burning through the paper, but leaving it like a mark on there.
And what else does Ray have that he's holding back on this case that is yet to be revealed?
Tony, you want to address that?
Basically, well, aside from the two photographs and the other rock, every now and then he'll give us some new information that didn't make it in his book, because he wants to write another book, a follow-up book to the Socorro saucer in the Pentagon Pantry, to kind of definitively close this case in a way. But what we've presented so far, along with the Blue Book files that we've gotten from Rob Mercer, is most of the new stuff.
Well, I mean, because Ray always talks about there's more stuff. There's more exciting stuff to come. There's more stuff. And I'm just wondering what it is that he's holding back.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly, yeah, go.
This has been the fused, there's some, this is, I guess the rock in the area has lots of strange properties. It's some certain type of rock in that area, but I think that on one of the rocks that apparently was near the thruster, there are some crystals that are melted in the rock that are not indigenous to the rock naturally in that area. There is uranium in the area, but I don't think that would explain the radioactivity that probably fogged the film taken on the first day by the police officer. But this rock that we've seen under high magnification has these crystals that it takes pretty high temperature to melt them. And so that's going to be analyzed to see if we can determine, what happened, because Don Berlinger had written a good article in the MUFON Journal about if the film was fogged the day of the event and then film that was taken the second day wasn't fogged, you had some type of radiation that had maybe a 6 to 8 hour half-life. And there's nothing that we know of that really has that short a radiation span. And this was only right over the area where this thing knifed into the ground. So it wasn't a flame. That's another misconception. It was a blue type of, almost like an ionization of maybe what was subatomic particles that were knifed into the ground. So it wasn't like a conventional propulsion, vehicle like we use today to go to the moon and the space station. It was something different that created a type of residual radiation that only lasted 68 hours, and that's just not something that is easily identifiable as man-made.
What happened to Zamora's life after this case?
He worked for, I believe, another 10 years. He did reluctantly. I mean, he did interviews, but he went through long pauses where he wouldn't talk about it. He definitely didn't like bringing up the white coveralls. He very rarely talked about that part after initially discussing it because he got so much grief about it. And what was interesting was, he led a pretty long and good life. His daughter, Ray, told us a story once where his daughter was asking him, what really happened there at Lonnie's house, and Lonnie pointed to Ray's book that he had a copy of and said, that's, if you want to know what happened, that's the only summation of the case that got it right, pointing to Ray's book. And Ray wrote the eulogy for Lonnie's funeral when he passed.
What grief was he getting over the white coveralls?
The little green men type thing, if Lonnie Zamora saw aliens, that he's nuts, that type of thing. Being a police officer and out in the public, and then you have this incredible story, it's just, everybody's going to take a shot at you that doesn't believe that anything like that could ever happen. That's just like with the hoax theory from the college, they can't say that it happened like Lonnie said it, so they have to come up with an explanation that fits into what they think. So when you have a credible witness like Lonnie talking about a really incredible event, and remember that when Chavez showed up and other officers said Lonnie was definitely shaken, he was white, he was white as a ghost, he was definitely disturbed and upset about what he saw. He didn't believe in any UFOs, never had an inkling towards that type of subject. And when, afterwards said he wished he'd never even talked about it or seen it.
And, what we have with this case is Lonnie's, we have all the eyewitness testimony, but we have Lonnie's description of the craft. He was right there. He was, a few dozen feet away. He saw it. He heard it. He chased it. We have all of that. But this photograph that Ray is in possession of, it could be a smoking gun that could blow all of ufology out of the water. And is that what you guys think that we actually have here? Are we on the brink of something pretty crazy?
This is Tony. What he's looking to do, and the reason he's waiting, is he wants a credible scientist that will put their name behind it, like he was hoping with Frankel when he had the rock. And it's I can understand based on what he's gone through and all the turmoil of losing the evidence, the whole Goddard incident. He wants to make sure that and he won't let this thing out of his possession. So wherever we take it, it has to be done with his presence right there because he doesn't want it to disappear, the original negative. So once that's taken care of and the credibility is standing behind it, then everyone will see it.
Well, yeah, but I understand. But the question is you guys have seen the photograph? I mean, is this?
In my opinion, yes.
Is this the smoking gun of all of ufology?
Yeah, I would say this is Ben. I would say it's a huge smoking gun. We also have seen, but cannot show, the probably 90-minute interview where Ray and Dr. Hynek, I believe in 1976, were interviewed sitting on a bench discussing the case, where Hynek admits that the metal fragment was a mess, and that he confirmed everything that Lonnie had said, everything that Ray wrote in the book. Dr. Hynek confirms in this interview. Ray just wants to clean up the sound on it. So that's another pretty good piece of background material that shows you that Hynek firmly believed that this was probably something not made on this world.
And how clear is the photograph? What I mean, obviously it has to be blown up. But when you saw it, Ben, did you just go, "Holy crap! You've got to be kidding me! It's right here."
Yeah. When you see it, it's almost like somebody had taken Lonnie Zamora's description and replicated it, because it's very clear, even with the work that Ray's done on the photograph, it's clearly an egg-shaped craft. You can see 3 of the landing gear and what looks like either a sun reflection or a point where maybe an engine is engaged, a white light on the back of it. And they're tilted, which is interesting because most things that fly around that we think are actually not hoax or real photographs or footage, these things don't fly aerodynamically. They have their own propulsion system. So if somebody's going to, hoax this, first of all, it's an old photograph that you can't really do much with a negative. It's easy to prove that it's a real photograph. That's the first step, to prove that it's not a doctored negative. But it's clearly, with the analysis that Ray has done, and when he showed it to us, it's clearly an egg-shaped craft with 3 struts. There's another egg-shaped craft that doesn't have any gears deployed, and there's 2 other objects in the air. So to me, it's just clear as a bell, hard evidence that this case happened exactly like Lonnie Zamora described it. And so far, we haven't found an explanation of anything made by mankind.
How can we motivate Ray to move forward? Because we just came off of this crazy situation with Mexico City and the Roswell slides and the bogus situation around that and what that did once again for ufology to go and get all excited and here we are on the brink again of something that could be extremely significant. What is it going to take to get this photograph out there?
Yeah, Jimmy, this is Tony. One of the things he mentioned to us with regards to that, and plus his health is an issue right now as well. He's suffering with some health issues that he has to deal with. I don't think he can handle the inquiries and possible heckling that might happen with the release of this. And he's mentioned a couple of times that people may or may not ever see it, or upon his death, and he's gone all the way around. If it's his opinions on when it's ever to release it. But we're working with him. We're hoping that he changes his mind. But I think once again, the most important thing is getting that credible scientific backing on it.
Well, just like the Roswell slides, and I'll make the suggestion right here, and you could talk to Ray about this, which is put the thing out there in the public domain. And let all of the, instead of one credible scientist behind it, which is exactly what happened with the Roswell slides, avoid that, put it out in the public domain, and let all of the thousands of photo analysts out there that are really, really, really good, let it just right into the public and let us figure it out. I think that would be the easiest way to go and the cheapest.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah, there's a precedent for that. The famous Trent photos in Oregon of the disc-shaped object, have been analyzed up and down, and we've analyzed that photo and have found some things in it that Ray also saw that looks like a real photo. But look at all the people that said that this was a hubcap hanging from a wire, from these telephone wires in that famous Trent photograph. So even if you put it out in the public domain, there's going to be a bunch of people that, truthfully or not, could say, well, we analyzed it and we found evidence of a hoax. And it's just hearsay at that point. Once that gets out in the public domain, it's just like the mobile balloon with Roswell. Once somebody says something like that, other people attach themselves to it. Go, well, that's the explanation. It's a hoax. Or I heard that film was doctored. So even if he releases it and lets people analyze it on their own, it's going to be he said, she said. I think probably have, somebody or a group of people, which we're actually working on. We're talking to people that might be able to get it to a group of people in France that would do some analysis on it. do that first, then release it to the public domain after we've had somebody go, look, I don't see any doctrine on this negative. The images show what was in the sky at X distance from the camera at this altitude. I think that'd be a better way to do it, because anybody can just come up and say, well, it's a fake, or I found evidence it's fake, without backing that up.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Tony. Also, I was going to say that photographic evidence, forever has been some of the hardest things to analyze. I mean, if there was ever one inconclusive, or actually conclusive proof of any kind of photograph out there, it'd be everywhere. Everyone would see it. It would be on everyone's, screensaver and background image. And if it was video, like the 1952, 54 video of the crafts over the Capitol that are making those anomalous movements, things like that are much harder to say are hoaxes, because they're displaying, really anomalous movements and changes of direction and things like this, where photographs, all day long you can beat a photograph to death and say it's a hoax or not, or what have you, especially in this day and age with Photoshop. So that's why we like to look at the older ones that have, emulsion film and whatnot.
Well, yeah, although I kind of, and you guys are my friends, but I'll say this, I almost disagree with both of those statements, and I'll tell you why. With those Roswell slides, those were, guys from Kodak were involved, and different analysts, and had looked at it to the point where, they had all of this expert stuff to back it up, and they present it, and then it was shot down in a couple of hours on the internet. And so having all of the professionals that you want analyze it, that's fine. But once you get thousands of sets of eyes on it, then you get everybody else's critical analysis. And I think that today, having access to thousands of researchers as opposed to one or two, and depending on that expert analysis, is not necessarily definitive of anything. You need to get it out there. That if I was Ray, the one thing that happened with Mexico City was that mistake. That was depending on everybody else's opinions on it, and not public opinion. And look what happened. And you get all of those eyes on it, and then you could just see what is actually there. That's my opinion. That's how I would have handled Mexico City. I would have merely handed out USB drives with those slides on it, high-res scans. Here it is. We don't know what we're looking at. What do you guys think? And then there's no harm, no foul.
Yeah, that's a good point. This has been the thing is with the Roswell slides. If you could have somebody that's a photo analyst analyzing and go, well, that's a real picture of a strange-looking body, but knows nothing about museums. Because I talked to the gentleman involved in that, because I wanted to see the picture before they released it, and somebody that's a museum expert would look at the picture and go right away, well, that looks like something out of a museum, because it was not a hermetically sealed case, and it had a place card in there, and there was actually, I think, another skull in there with some tools, which showed that it was obviously some kind of human mummified in a museum. So I guess it depends on what the skill level is of the person analyzing it and what they know it's in the photo. Because even with that, or with Ray's picture, somebody could take it, digitally alter the picture, and then come out and say, well, I've proved it's a hoax, and release a digitally altered picture of what the original is, and start a whole new thread where, sure, he's altered the picture, and anybody that analyzes that picture is going to see it's a hoax. So there's lots of ways to kind of get around, putting it out there and have everybody analyze the same thing and see the same thing, because they're all going to look for those rose-colored glasses and find what they want to find. If we have somebody that has nothing to do with ufology, it's just a photographic expert, and can just say, look, these objects are in the photograph, they're in the air, they're 4 miles from the camera at an elevation of 150 feet, well, that's a little bit better than what happened with the whole Roswell fiasco. So your point is definitely a good point. It's just that who's analyzing what, and what do they know about all the different things that are in the picture. The Roswell slides had a lot of evidence showing that was taken in a museum, whereas this is just a picture of a background that either there's objects floating in the sky behind there, or there's some kind of problem with the emulsion, scratch, or blur on the camera frame.
Exactly. That's exactly my point, though, Ben. That's exactly where I'm going with this. It's a slide. It's there. It's not CGI. It's not digitally manipulated. It's a slide. Run the scans of the slide. Put it out there on the net. Send them to me. I'll analyze them. And boom, just get it out there. I mean, it's a slide. He's got the negative. Pop it out there and get it done. I don't know what an expert could prove other than the dating code and batch code that's on the side of the negative, that it could be correctly dated to that time frame. Other than that, man, pop that baby out. Let's go. I'm excited. I want to see it. And let's get this thing going.
Yeah, at least in the picture, you do have, one of the two pictures, you do have the shot of Heineken there and Zamora. So we know, the year, the time frame, just by looking at them, and they look the same as the same year that this was taken in '64. And it's one of those slippery slopes where this has happened before, and anybody can call anybody nuts by pointing out something that's not true. So I agree. We need to have it out there, and it's just trying to work with getting this done. If it was up to us, it'd be out already. We wouldn't charge money for it. We wouldn't stream it on the internet.
Yeah. Don't go down that road. Yeah.
I don't do any of that. When as I've said before, if you get in this business to make money and become famous, you're going to be poor and unknown.
Now, we're going to wrap up here in about 5 minutes, and I wanted to ask both of you the same question, and I'm going to throw this to Ben first. You guys have been with MUFON for a long, long time. Ben, what's your favorite case that you have investigated over at MUFON?
Probably. Well, I can talk about one that's recent. We're getting a lot of flying triangles here in Virginia, and I see them popping up in other states with some video. So we've got some interesting case where the same object's been seen on the east coast of Virginia and all the way down near the border of multiple other states on the southwestern side of Virginia. And they're all the same, triangle with three lights, red light in the middle. Pretty sure if this footage is real and all, that it's probably some type of military craft, but the fact that it has no sound, it's pretty low to the ground and seems to fly at very slow speeds, it's very interesting. It's just, unless you're there, it's tough to nail these things down. So the witness, we're trying to work with one witness right now to film this object. He's seen it 3 times on the same flight path. So there's been other cases where there's been mutilation up in Shenandoah. That was a real interesting case where people stopped going out at night because of things they said were flying in the air. And that was a really interesting case because we had a possible disappearance of a small child for a while out of a locked house that turned up later on a porch of a house next to the one it was taken out of. That tied into a whole bunch of cases in that area at the same time. Different people reporting the same thing, so you had kind of a flap in the Shenandoah Valley. So that was a pretty interesting one, and the Triangle case is a pretty interesting one.
Tony, what's your favorite case that you've done with MUFON?
Yeah, I would have to say, agree with Ben that it's these triangle cases we've been getting lately. I recently had one from a pilot who works at Dulles Airport, and that's right down the street from us. And he was coming home, taking the exit. He sees this huge triangular craft with this only a red light in the center of it, about 300 feet above the tree line. And he sent me the GPS coordinates. I sent that to FOIA. I just got the FOIA letter back about 3 days ago stating that there was nothing in the vicinity for the approximate GPS location for the elevation. Even approaching radar had nothing on it. And then I got some correlating cases in Manassas, which isn't very far away, and also Tennessee, Virginia Beach. Everyone's describing the same thing. The hard part is, of course, not a lot of evidence. Now, Ben has a case that has some really good video evidence, but still trying to figure that one out and see how credible that video actually is.
How big is the triangle in the video?
It's about the size of probably a large plane, maybe the size of an airliner. Hard to determine because this was a late night flight where you don't have a reference behind it. He thought it was being trailed by an airplane, one of our airplanes, but in hindsight, he could have been seeing the object real close to him and then a passenger jet, 30,000 feet above it flying in the area. But one of our other investigators looked at this footage, and we're trying to break it down, but says in part of the footage it becomes translucent, which is interesting because I didn't notice that at first. So still, it's kind of a nuts and bolts thing, which would make me think advanced military, but you never know. It's just one of those things where unless you can walk inside and kick the tires, you just don't know what you're dealing with.
Right. Interesting. And when you guys get further with that, I would like to see the video and bring you guys back on. I'd like to see that. That sounds really interesting. It's one of those us or them situations. And which way is it going? There was a video that we just posted today over on our Facebook page of a triangle that was shot here in Southern California. And I got to tell you, you look at this, and it's a triangle craft flying right over the street and shot with a cell phone or a highway. And it's pretty interesting, and it changes directions. No flashing lights, but the typical, 3 white lights on, one on each corner of the triangle. And it's a fascinating piece of footage. You guys should go check that out. I want to thank you both for coming on the show. And I want you guys to be safe. Have a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays, all that stuff. Thank you both.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
All the best. Tony Angiola and Ben Moss, everybody from MUFON. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to see this photograph from Ray Stanford. Very interesting. And from their descriptions, like they said, it sounds like it was Lonnie's description caught in the background. This is Fade to Black. I'll be back right after this. Oh, I'm opening up the phone lines. Let's go.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
Why do people order Life Change Tea? Because Life Change Tea helps the digestive system. Life Change Tea helps the colon unclog. The tea also helps with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and many, many other health issues. Life Change Tea also tastes great. And Life Change Tea is not just green tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs that go to town, cleaning your body of harmful toxins, bacteria, and parasites. Our tea is number 1. Are you ready for your life change? Let the tea help you. Log on to our online store of helpful products to get your body on track. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Not all tea is equal. Read our website of all the factual testimonies that prove that Life Change Tea is working. Health is important, and our quality of life is very important. Don't wait to order. Expect a life change with Life Change Tea at getthetea.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go back, Lee Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I want to thank Ben Moss and Tony Angiola for coming on. Pretty fascinating what's going on with this Socorro, New Mexico case. Could this photograph be it? I cannot wait. Let's go to the phone lines. I want to hear from you. What do you guys want for Christmas? What do you guys want for Christmas? Here's your one chance. Man, okay, let's go. I'm going to get all these calls in. Let's go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Walt from the Shenandoah Valley. I was calling just because I heard them mentioning about sightings that go on in the Shenandoah Valley. I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and I just wanted to share a sighting that I had here.
Yeah,
quite unusual.
Yeah, what'd you see? What was your name again, Tony?
Oh, Walter.
Oh, Walter. Sorry about that, Walter. Okay, what'd you see?
Yeah, this has been 2012, about November. Me and my cousin were in the middle Harrisonburg City, where my townhouse is, and we saw this orange globe appear in the sky. I mean, it came out of nowhere and it shot across the sky, much like a mouse would across a computer screen. And then it did this sort of morphing thing where it jellyfished out and morphed up into the sky, and we were just sort of dumbfounded by it. And then no less than maybe 45 seconds later, a fighter jet comes screaming down out of the sky after it. It was really like an F-16. I go down to Norfolk all the time to the beach, and I see them, so... But nothing like this light before. But whatever this pilot was doing, it was chasing this orange, mysterious sort of... My cousin said, who saw it with me, that he's like, if I didn't know better, I thought that was a ghost departing, because it was more ghostly than it was a ship in the sky or anything like that.
Man, Walter...
Right over Harrisonburg.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything, not even, a fighter jet like that over this little town. Never, much less anything like that.
You should contact Ben and Tony of MUFON and tell them about the sighting. Absolutely.
I just don't know the exact date that it happened. I know it was 2012 in November, about midway through. It was about dusk. Quite a thing to see.
Walter, you have a great, safe, Merry Christmas, and thank you for the phone call.
Oh, yeah. You too. Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Oop, I just hung up on the wrong phone line and picked up the other one. Okay, sorry about that. And that was area code 419. Just call right back. I'll put you at the front of the line. That's interesting. You should call Ben and Tony, shoot them an email, and tell them exactly what you saw. And having the fighter jet pop in right after that. Walter, you just got to do that. And if you have any problems getting a hold of those two, write me, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com, and I'll take care of it for you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Bev Knoll.
Hi, Bev Knoll. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just great. How are you doing?
Hey, you got the whole Feliz Navidad last name. You know that, don't you?
Oh, yes, and believe me, I hear it at Christmas time. But Bob's heard it all his life. I've only heard it for 29 years.
Yeah, right on. Well, Merry Christmas. And what do you want for Christmas, Bev?
What do I want for Christmas? Just have a nice family dinner and watch kids unwrap Christmas presents, and we always go over to his brother's
Oh, that's what it's all about, is friends, family, and everything else, Bev.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yes, it is. And you know,
yeah,
the
go
sad
ahead.
thing about it, though, is so many people have forgotten what Christmas is actually about.
How so, Bev?
Well, they don't, like at stores, they're not allowed to say Merry Christmas.
I know. Not on this show. Merry Christmas.
Hey, well, I say Merry Christmas. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree. And one of I've got two daughters, and we've got two daughters, and looking back, I wanted to make sure that when they were growing up, that they got the same vibe out of Christmas that I did growing up. And and I miss those days, when they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, 6 years old. Christmas was more important to me than to them, and it was just a special time, and I mean that. And
what sorry, go ahead.
And I just wanted to make sure that they got the same vibe, and to this day, they're young adults now. They're both 20, but they get it, and that is what's special to me.
And what I love is when we're over at his brother's. He's got 5 great nieces and nephews, and their ages range from, I think, 8 to 3. And they all sing Happy Birthday to Jesus. Isn't that wild?
There you go. Yeah, it's such a great time of the year, and
it is.
I just can't wait to start to kick things off. Hey, Bev, all the best. Give my best to your family, and have a great Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on Monday.
Okay. I wanted to wish you and Rita and all the Vader family a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Bev.
And love to everybody.
You got it. Thank you, Bev. Merry Christmas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Solana.
Oh, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to say happy holidays from hot, humid Houston.
Is it really hot and humid there?
It was 81 degrees was the high today, and it was nasty and rainy.
Oh,
man. It's just so un-Christmas-like. It's so nowhere near winter. So anyone else that's having a white Christmas, you got it going on. So
where's Space Boy?
He has already faded to black.
What?
He worked Monday, Tuesday, and today. I got to take these 3 days off to have a 2-week holiday. But, I've been up all night, every night. It's been great.
Well, and thank you for everything that you do. And I was looking at your Santa Jimmy earlier tonight, and I retweeted it. It's so cool. So just thank you. So what are you guys doing? Anything special?
No, it's pretty sad. We're just going to sit here alone. Maybe clean things.
I'm going to tell everybody that doesn't follow Space Boy. I was with my brother-in-law the other day, and he wanted to go out and grab breakfast, right? And I'm looking, and Space Boy's posting these pictures of Waffle House, right? And
yes, he went there.
Yeah, and I was getting angry, and he goes, "Why? What's so special about Waffle House?" I go, "Man, you know what? I can't get into that right now, but I wish I had some Waffle House." And I did let Space Boy know that he caused a lot of grief over here. And so there you go.
Well, that'll just delight him.
Yes, exactly. Merry Christmas, Orlana. Merry
Christmas to you, and here's to another good year.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. Thank you, Sorlana.
Thank you. Bye.
Sorlana, everybody. And guess who is on the line? All the way from Australia. Everybody, it's Mark. Mark, how are you?
Hey, Jimmy. How you going, mate?
I'm doing good, mate.
Nice accent there, Jimmy.
How are you, man? And now, what is different with Christmas over in Australia than the United States? Or is it pretty much the same thing?
Well, obviously, we've got summer here. You guys have winter, but I think it's the same, Jimmy.
Do you guys do Christmas trees?
Yeah, we got one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do Christmas trees. Yep.
Stockings on the fireplace?
I don't have a fireplace, but we've got stockings. Yes.
Yeah, really. So it's pretty much the same vibe. Same vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Australia is sort of a bit Americanized these days, and we sort of follow the similar traditions,
and so the whole Santa down the fireplace, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it's pretty much the same vibe over in Australia.
Yeah, we do all that, mate.
All right.
Definitely.
And Mark, what do you want for Christmas?
Mate, I just want a safe Christmas, and world peace, and stop all the crap that's happening in the world, but that's pretty much it.
Now, I'm curious because I know you listened to the whole show tonight. What do you think?
Yep.
What do you think about the Lonnie Zamora case? You're a very smart guy. You research. You know ufology as well as the next person. What do you think about that Socorro, New Mexico case?
Oh, thanks for the compliment, Jimmy. I don't think that he's making it up, Jimmy. Like, he's a police officer, and obviously something attracted his attention to take him away from chasing that car, whatever it was. He was chasing the car, and I think something happened. I don't know. I don't necessarily know or think that it might have been extraterrestrial. Maybe it was, but maybe it's something that we have, and it might have been having issues and just landed there, and you know what I mean?
Out of everything in the case, Mark, if those would have been two human beings outside of that craft, Lonnie would have said so. Don't you find that interesting? I mean, you know what two people look like standing in front of you 30 feet away, 40 feet away, 50 feet away. He was
that close, was he?
Yeah, he was up on the ridge looking down on top of it. And
in that case, yeah, for sure.
Well, let's say it's 100 feet. A football pitch is 300 feet. 100 feet is going to be 30 yards. A human from a dog standing in front of you that's 100 feet away. Or a gorilla, or a chimpanzee, or a horse. Pick it. It doesn't matter. You know what a human being looks like. And that's not what he said he saw. He didn't say there were two dudes standing outside of the craft. He said that there were two beings standing outside of the craft, and they were small. And that's the one part of this case. We could talk about an egg-shaped craft. Well, we were experimenting with that. We were trying with there. It could have been anything. Could have been a helicopter. Could have been a dirigible. Could have been a blimp. Could have been anything else. Any type of aircraft, something crazy, maybe some kind of airplane without wings on it and an oval body that had propellers. We had those in the Air Force, too. So it could have been any of that. Well, he would have said that's what he saw. You know what I mean? But those two beings, he didn't say he saw two humans. He didn't say he saw two dudes. And that's what I find most compelling about the case.
When you put it that way, yeah, for sure, Jimmy. And if obviously he would be a trained observer.
He's a cop.
Like all these Air Force guys,
He's a cop. He knows. Yeah. He knows how to identify somebody. And I just find that very, very curious. And nobody really wants to explore that part of it. And if I ever interviewed Lonnie, that's where I would go. You can describe the craft. It's white, it's oval. It looked like eggs. It looked like an egg. It had landing gear coming out of the bottom. There was a symbol out of the side. Okay, Lonnie, I get all of that. But let's talk about those two beings. What did you see? Were they humans? That's all. That's the question that needs to be asked. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, Jimmy. Definitely. and you'd be the man to do the job.
Oh, stop. But seriously, there's just certain questions that you ask. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's go straight to this. Lonnie, were they humans? That's all. You're a cop. You know what that's it. And that's the main thing with the Lonnie Zamora case. With all of the eyewitnesses that were there, it's so strange to me how it's not reported on. There was way, way, way too many witnesses that saw this from different vantage points, traveling in different directions. The one thing that Ben and Tony didn't mention, and I don't know if you know this, but the car that the tourist that had pulled into the gas station, he literally said that craft almost broke the antenna off of my car. That's how close it was. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about eyewitness. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Mark, I want to thank you, man, for being a Fade or Not and for everything that you do. You're here every single night, and thank you for helping us with the show. And I just want you to have a great, safe, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Mate, it's a pleasure, Jimmy. I'd just like to say Merry Christmas to you, Rita, and all the Fade or Nots, mate. It's been a very exciting year. Congratulations on your second year, by the way. And hopefully there's many more.
Yeah, we're on our third year, man. Third year. Can you believe
it? Yeah, that's it, for sure.
Too much. Thank you, Mark, and I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, mate.
Oh, I can see, but when that's how quick my mouse clicks. Mark, I apologize for that. Is this Rick?
Yes, it is. How you doing, Jimmy?
How are you, Rick?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I miss you guys.
Yeah, well, I was hoping to move to L.A., but we got jobs up in Seattle first, so,
Yeah, I was looking at some pictures of you the other day, and Rita and I were talking about you, and we just miss you guys, man. You guys are way too far away.
Yeah, if you drive, it's 2 days.
Now,
4 hours if you fly, but 2 days if you drive.
You've got 14 kids, okay? So most people don't know that about you, but you've got 14 kids. How do you manage Christmas, Rick?
I have 3 that I know of.
Oh, is it just 3? It seemed like It seemed like 14 when they were over at Casa Day Church, but okay. So,
that's because of IVS, because of the youngest one. She makes up for the other 10.
Right.
Yeah.
But how do you guys manage Christmas? Do you guys buy 3 of everything?
Well, we're lucky. The youngest one, my daughter, she's not really that picky yet. Give it time; she'll get picky. The kids, they're not really picky. The one that's actually the hardest to shop for is the 15-year-old.
Yeah,
because now he's at that age where the stuff that he's into is a lot more expensive. So, and also his birthday's in at the end of October, and then it's only a couple of months until Christmas. So he's actually the most difficult one because you really have to pick and choose.
Right.
But yeah, the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, they're easy. Something that Disney owns now, and they're good. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars or whatever. Something with a Disney logo, they're happy.
And your youngest, does she still believe in Santa?
Oh yeah. The 2 youngest still believe in Santa, and the 15-year-old is smart and he's quiet.
Okay,
he's quiet about it. Yeah,
and there's no snow in Seattle in December either. That's a bit funky.
Well, you know what? They've been predicting snow for the last couple of weekends, and then as it gets closer to the day that they're predicting snow, then they go, no, just a lot of rain. And we're supposed to have snow tomorrow and Friday. And they're like, nah, you're just getting a lot of rain.
Most people think Seattle, because of where it is, that it's cold, wintry, 3 feet of snow, because you're so close to Canada. You touch Canada, for Christ. If you think, did I just say that? I almost said that. on Christmas. I apologize, everybody. But it's not. It's not. Portland is colder than Seattle right now.
Yeah, it just depends on your elevation and all that. Like, there were a couple of nights that were warmer than you guys for our lows.
Yeah,
we're warmer than Vegas and LA.
Yeah, no doubt. Are you guys ready? Christmas trees up, lights on the house?
Oh, yeah, Christmas trees are up. This year's ornaments have already been selected and put up. My oldest ended up with Kylo Ren from the new Star Wars. My 5-year-old got the classic Darth Vader. And my youngest, my daughter, she got Princess Jasmine for her Christmas ornament.
Have you guys seen Star Wars?
Not yet.
Yeah,
I was afraid that it'd be packed, and I really didn't want to sit in the lap of some neckbeard complaining that they're not as good as the old movies. So,
Yeah. You're going to have that, but we haven't seen it either, and we were hoping to get it out of the way. Now, with everything that's going on, I'm not so sure. I'm hoping that maybe Sunday night we can go see it, but Sunday night, Christmas weekend, you know how packed it's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
yeah. Well, I mean, sadly, I already know all the spoilers.
Well,
those were confirmed a couple of months ago. And kind of predictable, but still, I still want to see it.
Do you care about the spoilers? Does it really matter? It doesn't matter.
No. I mean, I found out spoilers about, I don't know how many movies and TV shows, and ranging from like Doctor Who to Star Wars, Star Trek, and all that stuff. And I'll still go see it because even though you may, it's like a car accident. You see the person barreling up behind you in your rearview mirror. You brace yourself, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
But in a good way. Maybe that wasn't a good analogy.
Les just tweeted. He says he knows what you're calling about. What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for covering Socorro.
Oh, okay.
In my humble opinion, I think it's one of the cases that has the most veracity of any of them since Betty and Barney Hill. I mean, there's evidence. We have photos. We have all of this stuff that we can actually say, hey, look, this happened. We, unfortunately, with Roswell, everybody focuses on Roswell. But other than stories, we don't have anything. We don't have any of the debris. We don't have any of that stuff. We don't have photos. But with Socorro and with Betty and Barney Hill, we have physical evidence. We have photos. And that's why Socorro's is in my top 5. I just want to say thank you for covering it. It's my Christmas gift from you.
I remember... I'm trying to think how old I was. The first time I had read about Lonnie Zamora, and I was reading, I was so young, but I had read a transcription of an interview that he had done, right, about the entire thing. I was reading, I'm like, this is the most insane thing ever in the history of everything. That's how it hit me. And the witnesses and the FBI and Blue Book and everything that was involved with the case, I just thought this is crazy. This is the craziest case ever. And as I moved along over the last 30 years through ufology and studying, it's really funny. People, when I hear people speak or researchers or I pick up books, there's no Lonnie Zamora there. People don't bring it up. They bring up, I get it why they bring up other cases, but this should be the case that should be the most researched and banged out, and it's not. And I just don't get it. It's not right. It hasn't got its due. It's about to get its due. It's about to. I have the feeling something's about to break.
Well, we have a lot more to go off of with this than we do with all the other ones. I mean, the thing with Roswell, because it became such a stink and it became cool, exciting, sexy, whatever you want to, whatever term you want to use to, that it grabs people's attention. But if you look at Socorro, it doesn't really sound that exciting. It's not like you can make a big blockbuster film
with Michael Bay blowing up half the set. You know, it's just this dude is chasing this guy through the desert, sees a fire. Oh crap! It's by like the munitions plant or whatever. He goes to make sure that nobody's going to die. And there's this ship with these, and I remember the white jumpsuits as well. That's how I first read it. And you look at it on the surface, and you're like, so what? You know, it's not really that exciting. There's no intrigue. And then when you see the after effects, when everybody comes flooding in to investigate it, that's when you're like, well, wait a minute, if it's not that big of a deal, nobody pays attention, why did it have all these people from like Project Blue Book or whatever it's called that week? You know what I mean?
Well, with Roswell, the reason why, well, there was many, but one of the main reasons why it took off like it did is because it was covered up until 1980. And nobody knew about it around the United States until 1980, unless you read that one newspaper report from 1947. Yeah. After that, it was hushed up and nobody knew about it. I'm telling you, I have gone back and listened to and read and done everything I can from that period of 1947 all the way to 1980, and go and listen to any radio program. Go and check out any UFO documentary from 1972, 71, 77. Go and check it out. There's not one reference to Roswell anywhere. It does not exist. It's not there. Long John Nebel, you go and listen to his old radio show, and from 1958 to 1970. Go and listen, because he references every famous UFO case all the time. They sit around and they talk about this. They talk about that. They'll talk about Mantell, in his plane, going up and chasing Venus or whatever. He'll talk about all those cases, but no Roswell, and that's why Roswell caught everybody. Because nobody, and it turned out that it was covered up, and it did happen, and the newspaper reports were there, and the radio reports were there. All of it was there, and it was indeed covered up. So everybody loves a great conspiracy. Everybody loves that, and Roswell brought that in spades. Lonnie Zamora,
I think that's what sold Roswell.
Yes, and Lonnie Zamora, on the other hand. That's a case that was out in front, and it was out in public, and it was out on the news wires, and it was broadcast and investigated, and it was in Blue Book, and so it was a bit different. It was handled a bit different. And with that, I got to take a break here, Rick. Give my best to the family. Cool, Merry Christmas. I want you to be safe.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you guys as well.
And we'll see you right here on Monday.
Cool, man. Take it easy.
Talk to you. That's Rick, everybody, up in Seattle with no snow. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and I'll be back more with your phone calls, 323-825-5045. I already know who's up next, another famous fade or not. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hi, folks. Ray Sobbs here with KGRA to tell you about something very special taking place in February 2016. I'm talking about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place at the beautiful ski and snowboard resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. We've got Richard Dolan, Chase Kletsky, Micah Hanks, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, Mike Barra, and keynote speaker Stanton Friedman will be presented a Lifetime Achievement Award. Lord, George Norrie, and his producer Tom Danheiser from Coast to Coast AM Live will be with us all weekend. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself a retreat on top of the world the first weekend in February 2016 with a one-of-a-kind ufology event featuring some of the top minds in the field. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now and register at aliensnowfest.com. I'll be there. Don't miss out.
Hello, Fadernauts. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the holidays? Well, check this out. The Studio Dome surround sound system, featuring the Studio Dome 1 SD1 and the Studio Boombox SBB wireless Bluetooth speakers, is the perfect way to get surround sound without all of the cable headaches. With its own hard shell custom carrying case for taking your surround sound experience on the go. Each hard shell case comes packed with an SBB, 2 SD1s, cables, and power. Just in time for Christmas. It's just $99. And you use the promo code Jimmy and you get yourself some free shipping. Once again, Studio Dome brings you the best Christmas deal on the net. Anywhere. Just go to the Studio Dome banner, jimmychurchradio.com, promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Tuppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Merry Christmas, everybody. I want to thank Ben Moss and Tony Angiola for coming in. New evidence on the Socorro case. Wow. I can't wait, and I hope it is what it is. And I trust these guys. They have eyeballs, and I can't wait. Could it be what we think? But, yeah, I want to thank them both and say Merry Christmas to everybody, and Merry Christmas to this guy. Hey, K28.
Hey, Jimmy. Merry Christmas to you and Rita.
Merry Christmas.
Yo.
Are you guys ready? I've seen your pictures.
Yeah, we have a nice tree set up.
Yeah, right on, man.
I was asking you, maybe you could post yours, too.
Oh, man. You know what? I saw that. I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. I so don't want to you know, I just... Is it exciting? I didn't want to be like everybody, you know, here's our Christmas tree. But yet... I like seeing everybody else's Christmas pictures. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess I should just do it. But we're ready to go. We're ready to go. So,
that's great.
And what are you doing for Christmas dinner? What's the main? What do people do for Christmas dinner? Do you do turkey? Do you do ham? We are doing. We got a big prime rib roast. You know, like a big 30-pound, huge. And that's what we're doing. We're doing a prime rib roast. What are you doing? What's the main thing on your table?
It's going to be a candied ham.
A candied ham?
Yes.
Okay. What do you candy it with?
I don't know. Well, I'm not making my mom's making it, but it's basically it's a special coating that you put on the outside. It gives it like a caramelized look to it. So.
Yeah, man. We did that last month. We did one of those next to the turkey. And, we did a pineapple glaze with pine. And, and I took, you take the toothpicks and you stick pineapple rings all over the top of it, a couple of cherries, pop that baby in the oven. Oh, man.
You put cloves on it, too?
Oh. No, we didn't do cloves. No cloves.
Oh.
No cloves. I just did. No, man. I don't mess it up. So I like that. I like the cloves when I was growing up. I get it. I do. But now that I'm an adult, I do it my way. No cloves. I just want that sticky, crunchy, crispy fruit sweet glaze. You know what I mean? And because it gets to that what is it? It's like a candy crust.
Yeah,
oh,
it
man.
is.
Oh. All right, Kay. Hey, Merry Christmas. Anything else
Merry
real
Christmas
quick?
to all the Fadernauts.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
A Christmas gift would be to meet you and Micah Hanks together at the same time.
Well, you're going to do that shortly.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. We'll make that happen. Thank you, Kay. We'll see you on Monday.
I'll see you. Thank you, Jimmy. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Jimmy. This is Mark from Oregon.
Hey, Mark. How are you, man? Merry Christmas.
Great. Merry Christmas to you and Rita and your family. I hope you have a great time.
And what are you getting for Christmas?
Ahead.
What are you getting for Christmas?
I have no idea. I have everything that I want, really. Tammy and I, sometimes it's serious. Sometimes we get each other a gag gift or something like that, just for fun. Like one year she brought me an extra small athletic supporter for Christmas. Just something funny,
What color? What color was it?
It was just white. Pink would have been funnier. That's true.
All right, now that is burned into my retinas.
Some things you just can't unhear.
Well, okay. Well, the question: did you wear it?
Absolutely not. I couldn't even get. I couldn't get it up to my knee.
Oh man. Okay, let's move on. The kids out there are going, "Mommy, what's an athletic supporter?"
It's something that you need when you play Little League baseball. You'll definitely need one.
It's a cheerleader. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
And that's my favorite part of the year, really. It is the kids. It's watching the kids open up the presents and reliving that nostalgia from my youth, vicariously through them, and just thoroughly enjoying the process. And that's the reason for this season. It's just I hope everyone's just a little bit nicer to everyone around them, like a little bit kinder in traffic, or maybe helps the little old lady in the grocery store get something down from the top shelf. Just takes an extra minute to do something nice for someone else, and that would make my Christmas if anyone would do that.
Now, Christmas dinner, are you guys going to do it up or what? What do you guys have planned?
I don't even know what we're going to have. We're going to go over and have dinner with friends, and probably tomorrow we'll call and say, what would you like us to bring? And we'll do that. We'll bring whatever they want us to bring.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Again, I give my best to you and Tammy, and Merry Christmas, and I want you guys to be safe, have a good time. Family, friends is what it's all about. Okay, so Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Never go back me Tepe and drive.
I'll talk to you. Thank you, Mark.
All right, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
So I was just thinking, phone lines are open, 323-825-5045. What do you want for Christmas? I wanted that hoverboard. That's what I wanted, and I didn't get it because they're catching on fire. So I didn't get a hoverboard, and I will. I'll take some pictures of some of the stuff that Rita got me. It's actually pretty cool, way outside of the box, and so I'll do that over the next couple of days. And I was just thinking about this. One of the Christmas stories that I have growing up, and I know that what I'm about to share with you, everybody probably has this same memory or same story, but I'm going back to probably 1968. I'm 5 years old, and up in Chicago, and all I wanted was a drum set. Okay, that's what I wanted. Now, my dad was in still is, was in a band. And I knew what real equipment was. In other words, in our dining room growing up, especially at this time, I remember Fender amps, right? Fender Twin, Fender Bassman. I was able to go at that age. I would go and turn them on, and Fenders had this big red light. Well, they still do, but this big red glowing light as it warmed up, and I could put my thumb on the red lamp, and it would light up through my finger, and I could see my bone. I thought that was really cool, like an X-ray. So I knew, and there was a drum set in the dining room, right? That's what I grew up with. And I knew what professional equipment looked like. And I would watch them rehearse, and I would watch the drummer. And I don't know why I never ended up playing drums, but that was my thing. And I wanted a drum set. So, Christmas morning, and man, I'm geared up, man. I'm ready to go. And we, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was and run downstairs. And I run up to the Christmas tree, and there's my drum set. But it wasn't the drum set that was in the dining room, right? It was a toy drum set. It was like, I don't know, a Spider-Man drum set. And I'm looking at it, and my parents are there, and my brothers and sisters, and ripping open presents and having fun. And I am angry. And I'm like, wait a minute. I wanted a drum set. And my mom's like, well, what do you mean? No, I wanted a drum set, like that drum set. And my mom shot me a look that I've never forgotten to this day. And shot me this look. Oh, we'll get you a drum set. I was like, really? Yeah, we're going to take this one back. I was like, really? Yeah, Santa's going to come and pick this up and bring you a real drum set. And I was like, oh, cool. So the next day, that drum set was gone. And I'm waiting for my real drum set that never came. And my mom told me this whole story. Santa was angry. Santa was angry that you weren't happy with the drum set that he bought, and that's it. No drum set this Christmas. I was like, you've got to be. I got all my other gifts, whatever, but I never got the drum set, and that is a true story, and I never forgot it, man. It was that kind of Christmas morning, and it fixed me. I behaved every Christmas after that. And now, I almost posted, I need to go and actually scan some stuff. I have a bunch of Christmas Day photographs, and I had forgotten, I was going through some photo albums, and I had forgotten that I had some of these pictures of Christmas morning. And I've got a few. I don't have like one of every Christmas, but I've got a few, and I think I'm going to post those over the next couple of days on Facebook. And some of them are pretty unique, and so I'm going to do that. And some are old, some are, I'm like, I don't know, 12. I think there's another one I'm like 15, and then there's another classic one where I'm probably 20, 21, 22. I'm guessing here. All right. I'm going to take a couple of more phone calls. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I'm going to take a quick break. It is Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. I want to hear from you, Fadernauts. We got a few minutes left. And that's going to be it. All right, few minutes left. I'm taking your phone calls. 323-825-5045. I want to hear from everybody. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
People love to shop. What if you could shop and it was actually good for you? What if you could actually purchase items that bettered your life? What goes into your body is important to what quality of life you have. How about shopping for items that better your health? GetTheT.com is that shopping place. We're not only tea, even though that's our #1 seller, we are about helping your health. There's Colostrum LD for those of you with autoimmune troubles. The product helps your stomach get on track. GI problems produce pain. Get relief with Colostrum LD. How about some fat burners? Or maybe some joint aid? Or a power cleanse? There's so much to tell you with very little time. So get help health-wise at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Or you can call our friendly operators at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Get help and relief by going shopping. Shop at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Serving people with great products for over 8 years. GetTheT.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Hello, Fadernauts. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the holidays? Well, check this out. The Studio Dome surround sound system, featuring the Studio Dome 1 SD1 and the Studio Boombox SBB wireless Bluetooth speakers, is the perfect way to get surround sound without all of the cable headaches. With its own hard shell custom carrying case for taking your surround sound experience on the go. Each hard shell case comes packed with an SBB, 2 SD1s, cables, and power. Just in time for Christmas. It's just $99. And you use the promo code Jimmy and you get yourself some free shipping. Once again, Studio Dome brings you the best Christmas deal on the net. Anywhere. Just go to the Studio Dome banner, JimmyChurchRadio.com, promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, everybody. Merry Christmas. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Merry Christmas, everybody. And I'm just going to say this right now. I was going to have George Norrie come in. We were. And say Merry Christmas to everybody. And he just texted me. He's stuck on hold over at KFI and to do his little pre-announcement before Coast tonight. And he can't get away. He's stuck on hold. So he wanted me to say Merry Christmas to everybody. And if you go over to KFI right now, you're going to hear him live on the air. And that's why he is not here. Okay, so anyway, George says, Merry Christmas. And Race Hobbs. Race Hobbs, Merry Christmas, man. How are you?
I am blessed, Jimmy. Merry Christmas, brother.
It is a blessed time of year, isn't it, man? Yeah, Merry Christmas, Race.
It is. We have so much to be thankful for. You know,
it's truly crazy to think that this year has already come and gone, isn't it?
I cannot believe, and what, 3 days ago we had our 2-year anniversary. Next month we're going to have our 1 year with you. That's insane, isn't it?
It's crazy. But it's absolutely wonderful. I wanted to call in, first of all, want to give a big shout out to the Fadernauts and wish all of them a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. I love each and every one of you guys. You're an awesome audience. And, Jimmy, when you make good decisions and you make good choices, business and otherwise, it feels good, doesn't it?
Well, see, the thing is, and I just brought in Les. Les, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Race. Merry Christmas, Jimmy.
Merry Christmas, Les.
Now, and to that, look, when you do the right thing, if you in life, Race, and Les, and to the audience, life takes you down a road. And when you have to make a decision, it's always the right one or the wrong one. And you know which one is which. There's no guessing. And as long as you make the right decision and you do the right thing, good things come to you. If you are one that wants to be lazy or go the wrong route or go the negative route, life doesn't bring you that bowl of cherries. And KGRA, the family, Race, Robin, everybody over there, and myself and Les and the Fadernauts, we make the right decisions. We go down the good path. And that's why it's been a great year this year. And 2016 is about to blow up. It's going to be awesome. It's because we do the right thing.
We try. We try really hard. Don't always, we're not perfect, but we do the best we can. And we try to do all of our work and everything that goes under that umbrella with integrity. So, there's a lot of things that come and go in this industry. And we're going 4 years strong here at KGRA, working real hard to keep bringing good radio to the listeners of the world out there who have an interest in paranormal and UFO. And with Jimmy coming on this past year, everything has been ramped up exponentially at KGRA. The listeners love all of Jimmy and his team, and I can't be more happy.
Man,
it's like Christmas every week here at KGRA.
It truly is, Race. That is a really good way to put it. Every day I just get up and just think, man, it's just another great day. Let's go and do this. And I just can't be happier. And so thank you to everybody over at KGRA and you. And it's just been a great year. And you and I both know about some of the things that are about to break off in 2016. And yes. Just everybody just get ready. It is going to be an amazing year. Thank you, Race, and thank you for everything that you do. Merry Christmas to you and the family and Robin and everybody over there. And just have a great time over the next couple of days. I know you're shutting down. We're shutting down. That's it, man. I don't want to talk to you until Sunday, okay?
I don't know if I'll be able to after some of these good groceries we're going to have. But, yeah, Merry Christmas again to you and Rita and the team and to all of the Fadernauts. I love you all, and I wish you all the best and all of the season's blessings upon all of you. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Race Hobbs, everybody. Thank you, Race. Thank you so much. Les, Merry Christmas, brother, and thank you for everything that you have done for us over here. All of the Fadernauts owe you a big thank you, and so I will do it on their behalf. Thank you, Les, for everything that you do, and there you go. Merry Christmas to you and your family. How you doing?
Oh, wow. You just blew me away, dude. Thank you. I'm doing great. We celebrate Yule instead of Christmas, but we do have the Christmas spirit, just like everybody else does. Saying Merry Christmas isn't a bad thing. It's what you feel in it that matters most.
Wait. What is Yule?
It's actually a pagan holiday. It is the celebration of the longest day of the year ending and then the new year beginning. It's the shortest day of the year, basically.
And
one of the oldest holidays on the planet.
Well, that's on the 21st, right?
That's correct.
So you're already done?
I'm already done.
Do you guys what about a Christmas tree? Do you have a Yule
we still
tree?
have a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a Yule dinner?
Yes, we did.
Do you have Yule gifts?
Yes, sir.
So is there a Yule Santa?
No, sir, there is not.
Does he dress in like a black cape?
It's not Krampus.
Okay, I got you. Wow, Yule. That's why I do this show, because I learn something every day. It's weird. I guess maybe I've heard of it, but not that much. And it's a pagan thing.
It's a pagan holiday. Yes, it was. I could go into it if you wanted me to, dude, but it would take too long, and we don't have enough time because we got to stop this because you got to start your holiday, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Everybody does.
Yeah, as soon as I shut this down, I got to head over to the house and start cooking. As everybody has noticed, Rita is not here. I mean, she was here, I think, at the beginning of the show, but that's it. Mm-hmm. She started the cooking. Yeah, man.
Oh, man. She told me some of the things she's cooking this year. Oh, my.
Yeah. It's no joke.
Oh,
again,
oh, my.
Merry Christmas. Happy Yule. Is that what you guys say?
Just say Happy Yule, yeah.
Okay, Happy Yule, Les.
You could say Merry Christmas. I still celebrate it with the rest of my family.
Get us out of here before we run late. Thank you, Les.
Love you, brother. All right, first, Jimmy would like to thank all the new callers in the Fade or Not To phones home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camurian. Special thanks to LJ Theory, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Pateau, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music is by Doug Aldrich. Intro by Spaceboy. See him at spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndicated on KGRA. And with that, for the week, Merry Christmas. Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. Merry Christmas to you and the family.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Les LJ3. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2015 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. Cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Merry Christmas, everybody. Be safe. Go Backley Tappy.